So what was Liz Cheney doing that kind of irked you into taking her on?
Well, exactly what was the front-facing persona of Liz Cheney starting in the November of 2020 and then accelerating in 2021. So Liz Cheney really didn't live in Wyoming. And she came there. She was a carpetbagger. She ran for the Senate, the U.S. Senate first in 2013, but realized she could not beat Mike Enzi, so dropped out of that race, and then came back in 2016 to run for the House of Representatives. I believe that there were 8 or 9 people who ran in the primary that year, and as a result, they all split the anti-Cheney vote, and she walked in winning the primary with 44% of the vote, which was really quite a good showing. Mm-hmm. I supported Liz Cheney at that time. I thought that she would be a good voice for Wyoming. I believed her when she talked about her family living there and how she felt about Wyoming and energy. But what really happened is that she immediately morphed into the swamp creature that we now, maybe not as bad, because there was a bit of a governor on her, I guess, because she wanted to continue to run for office from Wyoming. But she really didn't pay a lot of attention to Wyoming after that. So I didn't have much to do with her after the 2016 election when she was elected.
If I may, I think of Cheney, I think of her father, Dick Cheney. He is the face of the neoconservatives.
Absolutely.
and everything really that the MAGA movement is against. So it's quite strange actually to hear you say that you supported her then, because seeing as I see you as sort of part of the MAGA anti-neocon movement.
That was not really on the ascendancy at that point. Keep that in mind.
In 2020?
In 2016.
2016.
So it wasn't 2020 that I supported her. It was 2016.
Oh, okay.
So at that time, she was saying all the right things, that she supported Donald Trump and he was the president. She would vote aligned with him. She was saying all the right things. In fact, she was part of the Tea Party movement in the state of Wyoming. So she was trying to kind of hide that neoconservative mantle under the bed. And I think a lot of us bought it. But again, by 2018, by 2020, we were tolerating her as our representative because we didn't see people who had the ability to run against her. But I don't think that she was necessarily representing Wyoming well. An example is I'm on the Natural Resource Committee because we're one of the largest energy producers in the nation. We have a very strong ag industry, livestock production, crop production, those sorts of things. She was on Homeland, she was on the Homeland Security side of things. She was on Armed Services Committee. She was not on the committees that helped Wyoming. She was on the committees that helped Virginia. And so as she evolved as a representative for Wyoming, she was very much moving away from Wyoming. And that's how we learn more about Liz Cheney as she represented
When
us.
you say Virginia, you mean that's where she was living? And okay.
So she had a second home in Wyoming, but she and her family lived in Virginia.
I see. So
she lied about that. She made people believe she was living in Wyoming, like having a wall at her house appear to be a log cabin type of structure so that when she did video and things, but she was not living in Wyoming.
And so at some point you were like, I'm gonna run again.
So in 2020, in November after the election, if you remember, she was one of the very first national figures to come out and demand that Donald Trump concede the election. And she received a lot of blowback. So she was calling people to try to shore up support. And I was one of them that she called. And she said, Donald Trump needs to concede. Joe Biden is the legitimate president. And I said, Liz, I don't know that. I said, I haven't figured out yet what happened. This was within 2 weeks of that November election. And I didn't know about the Zuckerberg money. There were a lot of things we didn't even know about at that time. But I said, we have the right to get to the bottom of what may have happened in this election. I just don't know what the answer is. And she threatened to have me disbarred. Her response was, Harriet, you are a member of the bar. You are required to be honest about these things. And when you lie or when you start professing things that are not true, you could be disbarred. And I just laughed at her and I said, oh, Liz, that isn't the way that this works. That was the last time I ever spoke with her. But she just strayed so far from where Wyoming was and what we wanted. And under a representative form of government, she can have her own philosophy. She can have her own beliefs, but we don't have to elect her to represent us.
And so then at what point do you make the decision you want to go into the dangerous world of politics?
So there were
perilous world.
There were several people who had identified that they were going to be running against her, and I just didn't feel like that they had the background of Wyoming, that they had the knowledge of Wyoming, that they had the skill set that I had to push forward with the issues that we needed to do. And I made the decision starting in the spring of 2021 and during the summer of 2021 that I was going to perhaps seek this seat. And I went and met with Donald Trump, and he later said that he would endorse me, and that's when I stepped into the race.
Okay, I see. Now, it's I want to ask about if you've changed position on what happened in the 2020 election.
Oh, I think it was rigged.
You think it was rigged?
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this clip from The Winston Marshall Show. You can click here to watch the full episode. And for more clips like this one, don't forget to subscribe. And as always, be well.